I knew better than to stay alone in a remote cabin in the wilderness of northern Ontario in the dead of winter. But knowing and caring are two different things. I wanted silence, isolation, no phones, no people, just me, a wood stove, a good book, and a frozen world that didn't expect anything from me. The cabin was old, easily 50 or 60 years, a hunting shack really. One room, a slanted porch, a cracked window in a rotted frame, and a rusted cast iron stove that groaned when it got hot. No power, no cell signal, just snow, trees, and the kind of stillness that gets inside you and quiets your soul. I split enough wood for 3 days and settled in, drinking from a hip flask, eating warmed up chili out of a can, and reading by lantern light. The quiet was the point, but the second night, it felt wrong. The woods weren't peaceful, they were empty. No wind, no branches creaking, no wolves howling in the distance, just a silence so deep it pressed against the cabin walls like a held breath. Around midnight, I heard it. Crunching snow. Slow, steady footsteps circling the cabin. I sat up in bed, heart pounding. It wasn't the skitter of a rabbit or the shuffle of a curious moose. These were heavy, human-like steps. 4 paces. Pause. 4 more. Closer. I killed the lantern. The dark swelled around me. The footsteps stopped just outside the front door. Then came the sniffing. Low, wet, hungry. It leaned against the wood. I could hear the boards flex beneath the weight. Something scraped the wood, making a splintering noise that shredded my spine. I backed away and grabbed the hatchet I'd used to split kindling. My breath was shallow, fogging the air. I stared at the door. Then a voice called my name. My voice. Daniel. I froze. It didn't sound right, like something trying to speak, mimicking the shape of my name with lungs that didn't work, croaking it through frost and phlegm. It circled again. I crept to the window and peeked through the warped glass, and that's when I saw it. Tall and impossibly thin, wrong in all the ways a living thing shouldn't be. Its limbs were too long, joints bent just a little too far, fingers stretched into elongated claws like icicles of bone. Skin clung to its frame in withered sheets, gray and brittle, like frostbitten leather, stretched tight over protruding ribs that looked ready to tear through. Its face was a grotesque mask, tight, pale flesh stretched over an unnaturally long skull, with hollow black eyes and a mouth bristling with needle-like teeth. From its head rose a tangled crown of antlers, thick with ice and matted fur, like something grown from rot and winter. It was watching the cabin, watching me. Then it tilted its head. It knew I was there. It spoke again, softer. Daniel, let me in. I stumbled back, breath caught in my throat. The doorknob twitched once, just enough to make the metal groan. I didn't think. I ran for the trap door in the corner and yanked it open. I crawled into the root cellar below. It was cold and damp, lined with old shelves and broken jars. I pulled the hatch shut and wrapped myself in an old canvas tarp, clutching the hatchet to my chest. Up above, the door creaked open. Heavy footsteps thudded across the wooden floor. The cabin groaned under its weight, boards flexing with each shift. A moment later, long claws scraped across the floor. slow, deliberate strokes that scored the wood as if it wasn't just walking. It was testing the surface, trying to find a way through. I could hear it breathing. It stood there, waiting. Then, closer this time, Daniel. I stayed in that cellar until dawn. I didn't sleep. I didn't blink. When the first gray light bled through the cracks in the floorboards, I crept up and opened the hatch. The front door was wide open. Snow had blown in, covering the floor in white. The only thing left beyond were tracks. Deep, sunken, inhuman, long and wide, shaped like something that used to be a man, but had lost everything that made it one. I left that day with what I could carry. I never looked back. But sometimes, when the woods are quiet and the wind dies down, I still hear it. Outside my window, sniffing, scraping, trying to say my name. Daniel. And I know if I ever go back, it'll be waiting.